As soon as you walk up to this wall, it's amazing. It's much cooler and you can actually smell nature. You can smell the earth, and you wouldn't believe it, but right behind here is the off-ramp for the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So probably one of Australia's busiest roadways, but having this greenery right next to there is just another beautiful way that plants help to soften and make our cities much more livable.
Sydney the Giant is 7 times bigger than Paris. However, population density is much lower, less than 400 inhabitants per square kilometre. It's 50 times fewer than the French capital city. Yet the first city in Australia is facing the same challenge as other capitals in the world, decreasing its CO2 emissions. The authorities intend to reduce car traffic and make the urban landscape greener through a project with the slogan, "Green Roofs, Green Walls." Built in the middle of the renewed Chippendale district, the One Central Park is covered with a curtain of plants and flowers over 50 metres high. It is the first vertical garden in the world built on a building's facade, a revolutionary project created by Frenchmen. Jacques Gammon, an entrepreneur fond of botany, got it started.
This project here is One Central Park. There's over 100,000 plants on the facade of the building. There's green walls and planter boxes. The project was designed by French architect Jean Nouvel in collaboration with the originator of the modern green wall, Patrick Blanc.
This 34-storey tower includes a shopping mall and 600 apartments. With its solar panels and integrated factory to recycle water, the building is at the forefront of environmental considerations.
All of the electricity is tri-generation, so they use gas to power all of the turbines to create electricity for the site. So if the rest of Sydney went down, this precinct could actually sustain and manage itself. So a lot of what the greenery on this building was to actually showcase some of the sustainability initiatives that people couldn't actually see.
Another challenge was tackled during the construction of the building, managing to hold every plant on a vertical surface. Balconies, roofs, basically anywhere they could be put.
Really critical part is innovation. So we need to properly understand how Mother Nature works on buildings. We've got challenging wind, we've got water, weights of green walls, weights of green roofs, and our research with universities has been instrumental in us really bringing the power of plants into the city. So we've developed our own green wall system.
In order to supply the necessary plants, Jacques built his own nursery south of Sydney. Here the plants' growth is optimised and their health monitored.
Do you want me to just keep going?
Here at the nursery we grow all of our green wall modules. So we have a shade house where we have all the modules growing into a more mature state. We also have our propagation house down the bottom where we take our cuttings, grow them on and then transplant them to the modules. So when we plant modules out, we do mixes, so not all of the same variety. You've got begonias, you've got nemanthus, you've got all types of different plants in here, and this creates a beautiful effect, especially on smaller walls. So this is an example of a module where we plant a single species, and this can work really well on a large scale. If you have a look over here, this is an example of a single species. While it looks fantastic, you can have problems with pest or disease outbreak. Like any traditional farmer, you've got to be careful when you plant monocultures. It's also much better to have a range of diversity to attract other beneficial insects and fauna to the wall. Morning.
Morning.
How are you going? Good.
Good.
Nice to get some rain.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Be nice, huh?
So good. The
Yeah.
dam is full.
I know.
Overflowing.
Yeah. Everything's looking fantastic. I mean, all of the...
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and how's the propagation?
Really good.
Good. And what's up in the...
In the poly. let's
Poly
have a
tunnel?
look.
So these are the new ones you've done up here?
Yes, indeed.
And what are you doing differently there?
We've got some stem cuttings
Yeah.
here and lots of leaf cuttings,
Okay.
which we've got.
Jock's
some,
journey illustrates
really
the
desperate
passion Australians
for-
share about nature.
Both, okay.
I used to be an accountant many moons ago. I got married and started having children, and the world that they're going to be growing up in with climate change was going to be a lot different to what we were growing up in.
Small bit of the
So we knew that plants were going to be important for our cities from a social point of view, but also from a health point of view. But I wouldn't even call it a job, something that I love. My free time is spent in the vegetable garden at home, so plants for me are such a critical part of who I am, and I want to continue to be bringing plants to all corners of the globe and all corners of buildings and everywhere in betweens.
In order to be able to put plants on as many facades as possible, Jock had to adapt his techniques to the building's constraints.
This is another one of our walls. Super low light conditions, so we've actually had to choose plants that can handle next to no direct light. Plants produce oxygen, plants make air temperatures cooler when they release water, plants bring biodiversity, nature.
The city of Sydney has understood well enough the beneficial effects of vegetation zones. Jock has installed green walls throughout the city, even in the most unexpected places.
As soon as you walk up to this wall, it's amazing. It's much cooler, and you can actually smell nature. You can smell the earth, and you wouldn't believe it, but right behind here is the off-ramp for the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So probably one of Australia's busiest roadways, but having this greenery right next to there is just another beautiful way that plants help to soften and make our cities much more livable. It's a really exciting time because plants have now been accepted as a key part of our city, and they're going to be treated like any other part of infrastructure, whether it's roads or electricity. We made a bit of a mess with what we've done previously, but I think this shift that's happening now is going to make our cities much more livable, much more beautiful and much more resilient for the challenging times we've got ahead.